Happy Monday. We are back with some more MLB action. Let's talk some seam. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that's right, we are back. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I had no bets on Sunday, so it was really relaxing, actually. Didn't have to follow the craziness of MLB on Sunday, but just a quick reminder, you guys already know it's like 17 days until opening kickoff for the NFL season. That's absolutely beautiful. We're going to have a futures bets video out. I think I'm going to have like 5 or 6 of them. And then we'll give out some Super Bowl predictions. Going to have Zach on, new teammate for the channel as well. And we're just going to talk some football. It'll be out later this week. So as for the weekend in the MLB, Friday and Saturday, one Luis Heel strike away from a nice winning weekend. But you know how that went. So we'll go over the recap in just a little bit. But Outlier, any graphics you see in this video or future videos are from an app called Outlier, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it, and that means it is dad joke time. Here we go. The waiter asked if I wanted a box for my leftovers. I told him I don't like fighting. Yeah, I don't know about that one. In this video, we're going to recap the weekend, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups. We'll give you the best pitcher strikeout matchups, and then the full 13-game pitcher report. And, of course, we will end it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community as we have football just a few weeks away as well. So let's get this party started. Grab that coffee, and it's time for the recap. All right, there it is. It was a very unfortunate Friday and a winning Saturday. Alt K's parlay was the added play. We got the job done thanks to Bassett and Wheeler just squeaking it by for me. All team total parlay had no chance. The Guardians got dominated. The Houston Astros got dominated. Brandon Young threw like a perfect game. I don't know what else to say. It was a crazy day. Over 11.5 Arizona, Colorado. Yes, I have thought about my life because I told you I'd rethink my life if that game was 4-2. It ended 4-3. I have no words. Two of the worst starting pitchers in Coors Field. I think they scored 17 runs the next day. Welcome to baseball. And then this one is the one that hurt all weekend. Luis Heel over 4.5 Ks. Got pulled a little early, honestly. I thought he'd throw a few more pitches, but he ended with 4. 1 strike away is what he was, and we have a nice, solid weekend because that was our one unit play. And then Saturday, Brewers money line we cashed. What a comeback by them. What a nice win in extra innings. Shota Imanaga under 2.5 earned runs. A very easy winner there against the Pirates. And then the Mariners money line did not get it done as the Rook McClain looked really good for the Mets, and they just couldn't get anything going offensively. So that's what we got for the weekend recap and the bets and all the breakdown, pitcher props, hitter props, and everything. But let's make a run out of this week and get some winners. So that's what we got. Now let's talk some hitter matchups. All right, we got 16 good hitter matchups for you today. Starting up there with Tommy Pham, 8 for 22 off Gausman. You see Seager there hitting the ball well off Michael Waka Waka. And then getting jiggy with it, 6 for 20, 1 home run off Kyle Freeland. Rojas, 5 for 16 off Freeland. So on and so on. You see Altuve there, 5 for 13 off Flaherty. Simeon, 4 for 13 off Waka. And then over there on the right side, how about Pete Crow Armstrong? That's right. The guy who has forgotten how to hit a baseball. 5 for 9 with 1 home run off Peralta. Jose Ramirez, 5 for 9. His teammate Stephen Kwan, who is swinging a hot bat. 4 for 9 off of Zach Gallen. And then Kyle Tucker, 5 for 8 versus Peralta. Tucker has forgot how to hit a home run. I don't know what is going on with him. But we end it with maybe the craziest stat of the day. Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies, 6 for 7 with a bomb off Yamamoto. That's right. So that's what we got for the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups, and we got 9 of those for you. Mookie Betts, 7 for 37 with 11 Ks. How about Ian Happ, 2 for 32 with 14 strikeouts off Peralta. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he might not be in the lineup. I'm not sure, but he probably will. Nico Horner, 5 for 26, 5 Ks off Peralta. Suzuki, 2 for 21. Dansby, 2 for 20. Has not been pretty. And then we got a couple Phillies. Marsh, 1 for 15 off Gilbert. Max Kepler, 2 for 12. And then Jeremy Pena, a couple Astros, 2 for 12. And Caratini, 1 for 10 off of Jack Flaherty. So that's what we got for the hitter matchups. Now let's talk some Ks. All right, we got 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups for you today. And the first one is Yuri Perez of the Marlins at the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis, second highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 26.6%. It's gone up since like last month because they're not usually in the top 3 or top 5 or 10 even. But Yuri Perez, 60 Ks and 60.1 innings. Rough start in Atlanta with just 1 strikeout, but he bounced back with 8 Ks in his last start at Cleveland. Higher K rate at home, though, 27.4 compared to 24% on the road. Higher K rate versus righties, 27.1 compared to 23.9 versus lefties. So that's the first one. Second one, Logan Gilbert at the Phillies. Phillies, this is a kind of a borderline one. 12th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, still 23.1%. And Gilbert's just a K machine. I mean, 124 Ks in 89.2 innings. You see, since the return from the IL, how about 7+ Ks in 7 of his 11 starts, 6+ in 10 of the 11. So, I mean, the floor is pretty high for him. Lower K rate on the road, though, 29.9 compared to 38.1 at home. Still both good. I mean, being at 30% is pretty solid. But slightly higher K rate versus righties, 35.7 compared to 33 against lefties. It doesn't really matter. He strikes out everybody. So that's what we got for the pitcher strikeout matchups. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, we start out with the first 7 matchups of the day. All the averages are on the bottom to help you out. Again, if you're new to the channel, we like to do this every single day to save you time and give you all the info that you need to make some winning bets. We got Spaghetti versus Flaherty to start it out. Spaghetti, it's been a wild 2 starts since his return. First start, he gave up 11 hits and 5 earned runs. Second start, how about just 1 hit and 2 earned runs, but 5 walks? So at some point, he will find his form. Sometimes he does have bad command, even last year, but Jack Flaherty has been terrible his last couple starts. And those are also just at home against Minnesota and at the White Sox. He gave up 8 hits and 5 earned runs in both of those starts. Kevin Gausman versus Paul Skeens. Gausman just had great back-to-back starts, went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits in both starts with 3 total earned runs allowed. And that was against the Cubbies and at Coors Field. And then Skeens, we know how good he's been. 4 earned runs in 2 of his last 3 starts, but it was at Coors Field and at Milwaukee, 2 of the harder places to pitch, obviously. He's given up 18 hits in his last 15 innings in his last 3 starts. And he has 1,000,000 innings consecutive. I didn't even write it down. Maybe I'll tell you later in the video. I thought I had it written down, but he has not given up a run at home in a very long time. It's insane. Matthew Liberatore against Yuri Perez. We're going to talk about this pitching matchup a little bit later. And then we got Logan Gilbert versus Ranger Suarez. Gilbert doing great at limiting hits, giving up just 16 hits with 36 strikeouts in his last 28.2 innings. So we'll see if he can start being the Gilbert of old, a little bit better command, a little more efficiency. But Ranger Suarez struggling in his last 2 starts. How about giving up 11 earned runs on 19 hits with just 6 strikeouts? I mean, that's not a good sign when you only have 6 strikeouts. That's over 11.2 innings versus Baltimore and at the Reds. And then my man, Trevor Rogers, we have talked about him enough. He's been awesome this year, giving up 1 or less earned run in 6 of his last 7 starts. He's gone 6 or more innings in 7 straight starts. And how about 7 or more innings in 3 of his last 4? He is going to be facing a Red Sox offense that has been just absolutely crushing lefties. So it's one of those, something has to give. Is it Rogers' dominance? Is it the Red Sox against lefties? But he's going up against Carrot Top, and Carrot Top is coming off one of the best starts of the year for him. 0 earned runs with 8 strikeouts at Houston. But overall, it's been a pretty rough season for him. And then we got Gomez of the White Sox against Spencer Strider. Gomez is going to be only his 2nd start. He pitched out of the pen a lot earlier this year. In that last start, he gave up 1 earned run with 7 Ks in 5 innings versus Detroit. And then Strider, this is not it. Maybe he can find his form again in the offseason, but that surgery, sometimes it takes a while to come back from. He's not himself. He is actually turning into batting practice lately. He has given up an insane 26 hits and 15 earned runs in just the last 13.2 innings. We're talking 2 hits per inning, and also with just 11 strikeouts. So he's not the same right now. And then Jack Leiter versus Waka. Leiter walking a lot of guys, like always, but still limiting runs and hits. He's allowed 4 hits or less in 5 straight starts. And then Waka giving up 2 or less earned runs and 5 or less hits in 6 straight starts. So he's been pitching solid all season long. So that's what we got for page 1. Now let's check out page 2 in the final 6 matchups. Yamamoto versus Freeland. Yes, we are going to talk about this one later, and you may not like my bet. But Brady Singer against Maderos. Singer gave up 3 hits and 0 earned runs with 6 Ks in his last start versus Philly, giving up 1 or less earned run and 4 or less hits in 3 of his last 4 starts. He just gave up 4 to Pittsburgh. Maderos, he pitched for the first time in a month in his last time out, had 72 pitches, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks. It was everything 3 in 4 innings versus the Dodgers, though. And then Gavin Williams versus TBD. Williams, I'm very mad at myself for not fading him last start. I wanted to do it ever since I saw him throw almost a no-hitter, 126 pitches. I knew he would come out and struggle because most pitchers do. And what did he do? He gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits in just 3 innings against the Miami Marlins. He only threw 75 pitches there. And then as of right now, the night before, I don't see a pitcher for Arizona. Robbie Ray versus Nestor Cortez. Ray had given up 2 or less earned runs in 7 of his last 8 starts until he gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs in 6 innings versus the Padres last time out. Nestor Cortez, been decent in 2 starts, giving up 3 earned runs and 9 hits in his last 9.1 innings. And then this last two games, it's a doubleheader, and it's a big one. Obviously, Milwaukee, Chicago, although Milwaukee is running away with this division right now. Peralta versus Cade Horton is what I saw in game one. I think it's the early start. As of right now, I don't see someone. I've seen a couple different ones for game two, but just check it out and see what the guy. I don't usually bet doubleheaders anyways. But Peralta, since giving up 5 earned runs versus the Cubs last time, he's given up 1 earned run and 7 hits over his last 11 innings with 14 Ks. And then Cade Horton, we're going to end on one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I mean, just flat out, last month, he's given up 1 earned run and 11 hits, guys, in 29.1 innings. I just don't even know what to say. That is unbelievable. He's a pitcher not being talked about, and he's absolutely dominating. So that's what we got for the entire pitcher report and all the research help. Now it is time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Miami, Florida, where the Marlins host the St. Louis Cardinals. Marlins on the money line, -137. Cardinals on the money line, +112, with a total of 8 runs. Now, I don't usually bet 1 unit on a first 5 total, but I'm doing it. Give me the under 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings, -115 on Bet365. Like I said, it's going to be a 1 unit play for me here. I like this even before I realized how many injuries there were. So let's talk about that first. We already knew Stowers, the best hitter for the Marlins, still on the IL, obviously. But the Cardinals are banged up. Wilson, sorry, get the Contreras brothers confused. Wilson Contreras, Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar may all be out. Contreras and Donovan have foot injuries. Contreras hasn't played since August 12th. Nootbaar just left with muscle cramping on Sunday, and we know Nolan Arenado is still out. I mean, this offense is nowhere near where they usually are when they're going to miss 3-4 starters. On top of all that, let's talk this starting pitcher matchup. Matthew Liberatore versus Yuri Perez. Liberatore, probably the worry here. If I had to have a worry, it's going to be him, obviously. He's been limited on pitch count, but he's been decent. Expecting 4 to 5 innings like he's been doing every single time. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 16.2 innings. You know, nothing terrible, nothing great. Doesn't miss many bats, but he also doesn't walk many guys. And you know what? I am so sick of making bets, and guys are walking them left and right. Bullpen comes in, walk. You guys know what game I'm talking about, but it happens all the time. So hopefully, Liberatore can at least have his command. But his 3 road starts, his last 3 road starts were against the Dodgers, Padres, and Cubs. Not exactly easy matchups. And he gave up a total of 5 earned runs in 13.1 innings. So I think he can keep this Marlins offense in check, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yuri Perez, he's been awesome this year until the last 2 starts, and I think this is a great spot for a bounce back. His last 2 starts, they were on the road. He's made 12 starts this year. Only 4 of them have been at home. That's pretty insane. In those 4 home starts, he's given up 0, 2, 0, and 3 earned runs. The 3 earned runs was way back in June. He has a 2.08 ERA, 158 average against, a .92 whip. This is all at home. Every single one of his home starts has gone under the 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings. That's right. They are 4-0 to the under of this total. And then offenses, Cardinals. I can't see them scoring at all. They have the lowest WRC plus versus righties last 3 weeks. Yes, that's right. The Cardinals are the worst offense versus righties in the majors right now. Hitting just 200 with a slug of 309. That's not good. And then on top of that, you're talking maybe missing 4 starters out of the lineup and 4 good ones. It's all bad for them. And then the Marlins. Offense is worse at home, like we've talked about, and versus lefties, like we've talked about. They're averaging 3.8 runs per game at home versus a lefty. That's in the last 10. That's only because of an 11-run game, too, by the way. But 3 or less runs in 6 of 10. Like I mentioned, they have no Kyle Stowers. They also have the 3rd lowest WRC plus versus lefties in the last 3 weeks. So overall, let me wrap this up, why I like it. Again, this doesn't mean you have to bet it, but I just like to tell you all the points and kind of what got me onto this one for 1 unit. But Cardinals out 4 to 5 starters in the offensive lineup, possibly, maybe 3. Marlins down their best hitter. Both offenses bottom 3 in these righty-lefty splits. Yuri Perez been solid at home with a 2 ERA, 4-0 to the under in the first 5 with him. Both teams having to travel tonight. Not a great spot also, or last night whenever you're watching this video. I just don't see how we get 5 runs here unless the starting pitcher, one of them just completely falls apart, walks a ton of guys, gets rocked. You know, obviously it could happen, but I like this one. Give me the under 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings as my first best bet. All right, this next one takes us out to Coors Field, where the Rockies host the LA Dodgers. Dodgers money line -283, Rockies money line +224, with a total of 11 runs. I'm trying not to smile. In honor of football, we're making this bet for a half unit. Give me the Rockies plus a field goal. That's right, +3 is -124 on DraftKings. Guys, I have to. If you don't want to tail, I completely understand because this is disgusting. It absolutely is. So let's talk about it again. The only way we lose this bet is if they lose by 4 or more. Hash brown math, you're welcome. Here's the spot. Dodgers just had an emotional series sweeping the Padres, now have to travel into altitude to play the lowly Rockies. How much are they up for this one? Rockies staying at home. They played at home on Sunday. Last 10 games, Rockies 5-5, won 3 straight. Not playing terrible baseball. I'm never going to say they're playing good baseball. Not playing terrible. Rockies are 4-2 versus the Dodgers on this +3 line this year. How about that? Now the starting pitcher matchup, Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Kyle Freeland. I am not going to sit here and tell you that Freeland is better. That would just not even make sense. But Yamamoto, this will be his 6th road start in the last 7, by the way. He's rarely pitching at home. He just got shelled in his last start versus the Angels in LA. Gave up 6 hits, 6 earned runs with 5 walks. Hopefully we get that kind of performance. But he has the ability to dominate a team, of course. We know that. He did just pitch 5, or not just, but on June 25th, pitched 5 innings, gave up 1 hit in Coors Field against these Rockies. He faced the Rockies in his final 2 starts of last season, for whatever it's worth. He did give up 6 earned runs and 9 hits in 8 innings versus them. He is good. I do think the Rockies can get to him for a couple. But Freeland, he sucks. There's no doubt about it. But remember, I'm betting a +3 line, not a money line. He has not been as bad the last 5 starts outside of his last start versus Toronto, or a couple starts ago against Toronto. In the other 4, gave up a total of 7 earned runs and 22.1 innings. In fact, 5 or less hits in 3 of the last 5 games. Again, that's a plus for Kyle Freeland. I'm not going to sit here and say he's awesome, but I do think, maybe on a sleepy little spot here for the Dodgers, he can somewhat keep this Dodgers lineup down. And speaking of the Dodgers offense, swinging it better lately, but other than being a sleepy spot, versus lefties, they've just been kind of average. 12th highest WRC+, 15th in slugging, not exactly crushing them. Possible rest spot for some players, again, after a 3-game series. Then you travel to Colorado. Maybe we see a couple starters out. And then Rockies, 22nd in WRC+, versus righties last 3 weeks. Again, not great either. They're averaging about 6 runs per game, though, in the last 10 home games. Starting to swing it well there in Coors Field. If I get 6, obviously the Dodgers got to score 10 for us to lose. Possible? Of course. Bullpens. Rockies' bullpen is not good, as we know. But the Dodgers' bullpen hasn't exactly been great either. They could come in here in a tough spot and give up some runs in Coors Field. So, overall, again, you may have already tuned out. I get it. But it's a big letdown spot for the Dodgers. This is like the Super Bowl for the Rockies. Better travel spot for Colorado. And by the way, did I mention they're +3? Rockies could easily go out and lose 10-4. I get that. I'll tip my cap and move on. But morally, I just have to take this. I have to take a half unit. It's plus a field goal. Football's almost here. So give me the Rockies +3 as my second best bet. All right, this third and final best bet is a hitter parlay. Been a little while since we did it. Give me Michael Harris Jr. and Julio Rodriguez. 1+ hit each, -118 on DraftKings. Half unit play for me here. Let's talk about Harris. This man has been on absolute fire. In the last 7 days, he has the 3rd highest batting average in the majors at 444. He hit 301 in July. He's hitting 387 in August. If you know anything about this guy, he is a hitting machine. Until the first half of this year, he's really struggled, but he's starting to pick that back up. As you can see by this outlier screenshot, on a 10-game hitting streak, 1+ hit in 17 in the last 20 games, has an insane 2+ hits in 8 of the last 9. That's wild. So maybe 2+ hits at plus money is the way you want to go as well. Facing a weak starting pitcher in Gomez, limited sample size, but you saw it, 5.5 ERA in 22 innings, doesn't miss many bats. White Sox bullpen obviously comes in after him. I like Harris to stay hot here for 1+ hit. Second one, my boy, Julio Rodriguez to get a hit. He's also heated up, hitting 320 in the last 7 days. As you can see by this outlier screenshot for him, 1+ hit in 8 of his last 10, 2+ in 5 of those games, as you see there. Not a surprise, but he hits much better on the road away from Seattle. How about 292 average on the road, around 220 at home, hitting 324 off lefties on the road as well. And he's facing Walker, Texas Ranger Suarez. He happens to be 3 for 3 off him, so that's not too shabby as well. And Suarez is also a guy who struggles more versus righties, 253 average compared to 221 versus lefties. And he's just struggling more lately in general, like we've talked about earlier in this video. A 6.75 ERA with a 300 average against over 18.2 innings in the month of August so far. So I like them both to stay hot. Give me Michael Harris and Julio Rodriguez, 1+ hit each. That is my third and final best bet on the video. Of course, any added plays will be in the pinned comments below, X, Discord, my website. You know the drill. But thanks for listening. Before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. My 3 best bets so far. The under 4.5 in the first 5, St. Louis, Miami, -115. This is a 1-unit play for me here. Hopefully, it's just a very boring first 5 innings. Rockies plus a field goal. That's correct. Minus 124 on DraftKings for a half unit. And then Michael Harris Jr., Julio Rodriguez, 1+ hit each for a half unit at minus 118. Again, thank you guys for watching. As always, hit that like button if you haven't already. But hope you guys have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon.